And I want two things. They say if you can see something, feel something, and taste something, you're probably most likely to remember it. So as Fiona comes around, I want you to open it. I want you to have one. I'll just have one while some of you are still watching, because it gets your saliva glands going. It's like smelling a roast dinner. You know, when you come home, it's sort of... There's plenty of them, hun. If we could flick them out, it's great. But I want you just to open them, have one, share them around. Sorry about you guys on the other side. I think I'll have another one. Oh. Yep. It doesn't come out very clearly. If we can flick on to the next slide. The whole thing, we are marketplace ministers. That's what I want to talk about this morning, is that it's more about the who you are than the what you do. When I talk from Scripture, I want to open up Scripture and show you that really it is way, way more about who you are than what you do. And you know, when you think about taste is a funny thing. But it's those of you who have now eaten an M&M, I guarantee most of you can't describe it. Describe its taste. All you can say is it's like something, or it's similar to. And you could talk about its texture, you could talk about facts, but its taste. Taste is a very, very difficult thing to actually describe. And as you've eaten it, how many of you have finished it already? I've finished 2. Eat your heart out, that's it. What's still left in your mouth is taste. And one of the things we've got to realise about our lives is simply this, that when we are dead and gone, when you leave work, when you leave your situation, something is left there, and it's called you. The taste of you, that sense of the fragrance of who you are. And taste is an incredibly important thing to realise, that we carry with us, we project into our environments, into the situations that God has called us to, the sense of flavour. And so I want you just to, as you chew on your M&Ms, there's 2 letters in M&Ms. It's not difficult to memorise. It's M and M. And it stands for Marketplace Ministers. And that's what I want to, I guess, encourage and challenge each of us to be today. And I very much include myself in this. I'm not a minister in a church talking to people who are ministers somewhere else. We corporately together are marketplace ministers. In the newsletter, you may have, tongue-in-cheek, no one's actually mentioned it to me yet, but I said today's going to be a great day, but tomorrow I can't wait. Momentous Mondays. They're days when we wake up and start a new week. There are days when we touch, as it were, we hit the marketplace. And church, I want you to catch that this morning. I want you to leave this place with a real sense that I am a marketplace minister. I am going tomorrow to start my job, if you're a Monday to Friday type person. I'm going to go and walk into this work environment. I'm going to walk into my marketplace environment with confidence, because I know I bring flavour. I know I bring that sense of something different. I bring something of presence, something of a sense of my identity. And these things we just got to walk through this morning and see what marketplace ministry is all about. I want you to come. Moses I think, is a great example to us of a marketplace minister in many ways. He was a long way from perfect, but you want to think about what he achieved. He was an organisational genius. He had 3 million people to try and get organised and take on a reasonably long distance. He had massive change in employment relationships. You know, slavery to actually one of sort of self-perpetuated. And if you want to think about superannuation schemes in KiwiSaver, well, I'll tell you what, Moses had it sorted out. When those people left their previous employment, which was actually slavery, the employer didn't just put 1 or 2% in their, they gave them gold and jewellery and just please leave, please leave. The people left loaded down, laden with all the riches of Egypt. That's what they took with them. This is Moses' organisational skill. He was a pretty good marketplace minister. I want you to come to Exodus chapter 2 and some great things we can learn as a sense of this marketplace model. One day after Moses had grown up, he went out from where his own people were and watched them at their hard labour. And he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. And glancing this way and that and seeing no one basically watching him, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" The man said, "Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid, and he thought, "What I did, it must have become known." And when Pharaoh heard this, he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian. Moses lived 40 years in an incredibly privileged environment. He was born a Jew, but he was culturally and educationally an Egyptian of incredibly high rank. He was really the equivalent of Pharaoh's son. And so he lived for 40 years in this incredibly privileged environment. And then